Juniata friends, and especially class of 2020, I am a liar. I have lied consistently. I'm talking about every day looking a person in the face, unrepentantly, with all the sincerity I can fake. Not to strangers either. A full confession here must include the truth that I have lied to my colleagues, to my family, and the person I've told the most persistent and mendacious, pants-on-fire, dirty dog things to is me. Did you ever have an experience like this? I remember one evening late in my sophomore year of college, studying in the common area of my dorm so my roommate could get some sleep. It was one of those dark nights of the soul when I thought I was standing on a cliff, gazing into the maw of failure. I remember telling myself then, you just have to finish college, man. That's it. After that, you need never take another class forever. I pulled myself together, hit that bottomless cup of coffee for 99 cents at the Waffle House, and I finished that paper. And I passed that class, and I finished the term. Have you asked yourself that? Have you told yourself that lie in the last 4 years? Just got to finish this thing, finish this class, finish college? How about in the last week? Or maybe even last night? It wasn't it at all. Though formative and indelible, my life and career could not be assured merely because at 22 I had a bachelor's degree. But that lie helped me in the short term. Oh, it helped me get through that night and more. I told shorter term lies to myself than that. Just get through this test, that paper, calculus, a different roommate. But mainly the lie I told myself came down to just finish college and it's all good from there. A goodly number of you are going to get awards today for your academic excellence. Others are going to get awards for their athletic excellence. Some group of you are going to graduate from Juniata College with Latin honors. You all probably do not need my advice on how to succeed. But for the rest of us, here's my suggestion. Lie your way to your goals. I'm not recommending you lie to other people, just yourself. And I know. Juniata's motto says Veritas Libera. Truth sets free. So this might seem like a betrayal, or like some kind of break with our tradition and our values, but I don't think it is. College is when I developed the habit of the goal-driven lie. Although I didn't really recognize what I was doing for at least another 20 years. I created a habit of telling myself, and sometimes others, if I can only accomplish this task, fill in the blank. PhD exams, dissertation, landing a job, getting tenure, earning promotion, knock out that pile of grading, work through the round of paper conferences, publish that article, get through some speech I have to give. The lies transferred to personal life too. I remember thinking, if I could just live in the same city as Belle, it would all be good from there on out. And then having children led to a whole series of lies. I just need to get this kid potty trained. I just need to work out a stable child care situation, and I have it made. The lie I tell myself on any given day is a tool. It's a form of goal setting to get me to persevere through a problem, a stage, a challenge, to reach a goal that seemed like mountains and others that turned out to be molehills. It has worked pretty well for me. In most cases, I got through. These hurdles are always going to be difficult, but I told myself that lie about high school, I realize. I told myself that lie about finishing the spring of my sophomore year of college. I told myself that lie about earning my bachelor's, my master's, and my PhD. I told myself that lie about getting my dream job at Juniata College. I told it about earning tenure, and I told it about publishing my book. By this point, I really know that whatever lie I'm living with today will be replaced by some lovely lie over the horizon. When I recognized this habit, due largely to the facial expression of a certain senior member of the history department, I began typing them out, the lies, and taping the lies to my office door. The lie I'm telling myself today. Self-mockery, which I enjoy, is at least one upside of putting these lies out and making them public. I can taunt myself. Now, lying your way to success comes with genuine risks. You may have already recognized the moral hazard it presents. If you begin lying to yourself in one part of your life, can you contain it there? There are some others, but for now, there are 3 kinds of lies I hope you will avoid telling. One pair of lies are about yourself. One lie is about other people, and the other is about everybody. So, lie not to tell about yourself, number 1. I'm an imposter. If my collection of mendacities has helped me succeed to some degree, people undermine themselves with lies too. One of the most common lies that makes things harder is the lie called imposter syndrome. Telling some version of this lie, I'm just not worthy, is a particular hazard. Many, maybe all of us, have thought that this academic year. That lie may be imposter syndrome showing up in your mind. I'm sure you know what imposter syndrome is. The sense that you individually, because of how smart, how creative, how talented, how good-looking you rate yourself, don't get to succeed at law school, medical school, in finance, as an entrepreneur, in politics, in business, in relationships, or in life. Frequently, imposter syndrome intrudes to tempt us, to talk us into failure because of groups to which we belong. That can sound in your head like this: people like me, first-generation college students, women, gay people, trans people, people of color, immigrants, people our society has, at least previously, labeled as less than, aren't meant to succeed in this school, this business, this job, this campaign in life. If I could pick a superpower that I could give all Juniata's community, I think it would be the confidence of the adept, because you are adept. The confidence to permanently drive imposter syndrome thoughts from all of our minds. Lie not to tell about yourself, number 2. I can't do it. Another category of lie I worry you'll be tempted to tell yourself is a closely related idea to imposter syndrome. It's the fallacy of taking as total proof, of extrapolating from one data point to the conclusion that you can't do it, you cannot reach your goal. That lie sounds like this: that grade, that job rejection, that snub proves that I'm not capable. In this lie, you are not leaning on the categorical. You don't think it's about a group you belong to. It's purely personal. When I was in Barbados back in January, okay, I had to bring up Barbados. We were sitting on the porch of the student's house. I'd love for you to picture it. It's nighttime, cloudless sky, incredible stars out over the tropical night. The Atlantic Ocean visible in the dark still, right down the huge bluff from their house. Oh yeah, it was good. Turns out that was peak 2020. Somehow in conversation, I told those students a story I had told only a couple of people at Juniata, and even a few of my friends. And it's this: when I applied for PhD programs, I got a rejection letter from the one school that I wanted to go to the most. I thought about giving up. I thought about taking that as a permanent rejection. But I hadn't quite finished my master's thesis. I went on and finished it. I worked 2 part-time jobs in different parts of the city of Atlanta to get by. It wasn't a good time, but I reapplied and I got in the second time. So I went and I began the program. One day in the first year, my advisor and I were having a meeting, and he said, Jim, we never understood why you didn't come last year. Why did you say nothing to us and then reapply and show up this year? I said, well, because I didn't get in. He said, no, I'm pretty sure you're wrong about that. You should go check with the person who runs the graduate office. So I went down and right straight from his office and said, you know, I had this interesting conversation. Apparently, that professor thinks I was admitted last year. So the person went over and opened the files, you know, paper files, old school, pulls out my folder, looks and says, oh, I sent you the wrong letter. Sorry. That's about as mad as I have ever been. Right? To know that a little clerical error put me into a gap year I never intended to have and didn't plan for. But I think the big lesson here is that that error could have resulted in me deciding who I was and what I was capable of, and taking that rejection as permanent, right, as both deep and as broad. I avoided telling myself the lie that I couldn't do it based on one piece of evidence. I hope you can do that too. Now let me give you a lie not to tell about other people, the selfish lie. The columnist David Brooks, who spoke at Juniata many years ago, writes about the distinction between resume virtues and eulogy virtues. Brooks put it this way: resume virtues are the skills you bring to the marketplace. Eulogy virtues are the ones that are talked about at your funeral. Last August, my father died, rather suddenly, from a tick-borne disease. I returned to my hometown in South Carolina and connected with hundreds of people. Now it's amazing to think about the fact that I hugged hundreds of people, distant kin, community members, people I hadn't seen in years, sometimes in 2 decades. When it came time to have those conversations and for his eulogy and those kinds of things, little was said about his years as a volunteer fireman, his decades elected to the town council, all the decades he had spent farming in the low country loam, his role in community organizations or his church. Instead, we heard hilarious tales involving enough wildlife and livestock to fill a medium-sized ark. Folks recounted the fun things, the amusing tales they loved recalling to mind. They celebrated sharing life together. My father assumed that every person is interesting, deserves your time and attention, knows things you don't know, and each is an end in themselves. There's the rub, class of 2020. The people you meet are not the means to anything. They are the ends. That's a crucial lie to avoid. It's the lie about other people, that they are unworthy, that they are means to some end of yours, your companies, your parties, your movements, or your nations. Juniatians, being reared to be analytical, will have recognized that these components, telling yourself one kind of compartmentalized lie to keep moving forward, and refusing to tell yourself other kinds of lies, is in tension with itself. Yes, it is. This third peril of lying out of selfishness, it is a large and terrible category of lies. And I think you could apply a test every time to see if you might be tempted by it. If you want to do something fun, illicit, illegal, immoral, would the truth hurt a loved one, a friend, or a colleague? The selfish lie has behind it the desire to get what you want at the expense of others. There is no need to dissemble with your family or friends or coworkers. I'm suggesting that if you, like me, must lie, guide it with generosity towards others, always. Lie not to tell about all of us. I don't have time to relax. Back in February one night, I took a survey that Juniata had asked the faculty to complete. Our family sat in the living room together. Our son was on the floor doing his homework. Belle was watching a movie on her laptop. and I had my laptop on the sofa doing some work. So I reached a question in the survey that asked about work-life balance, and I knew that this was not an area in which Belle thought I excelled. So I just mentioned something about the question. Our son piped up, "What is work-life balance?" Without missing a beat, Belle said, "Don't ask your father. He has no idea what it means." Me warning you about the perils of this lie is like being scared straight by someone who is already a victim of the problem. Critics of our culture, the United States culture, point out with increasing frequency that we work too much. The research shows it is true that salaried workers put in more hours now than they did in previous decades. Among the many things I've learned from being fortunate to travel to other cultures, though, is that not all of them obsess with work. I can't get the image in the Netherlands in the summer out of my mind. When 4 or 5 in the afternoon comes, everyone not working in a cafe goes to one, has a glass of wine or an espresso with friends. They bike, they walk, they boat the canals, they talk, they laugh. Work stops so they can enjoy being alive in the summer sun. That's the Dutch approach to life, and they are onto something. In Barbados, too, fun is important. Gathering with friends for a rum and lime, maybe some karaoke, looks like a very life-affirming way to go. As you get into your work, by all means go hard. But don't lie to yourself that work is all there is, that it alone can bring you happiness. Make space for those eulogy virtues. I remember it by a wonderful phrase from our Barbadian friends: pace yourself. Go forward, class of 2020. Do big things, but don't let yourselves believe that you are imposters, that you can't reach your goals, that it's ever okay to use someone. And remember to pace yourselves. If, after that, you need to get through the work week by telling a little lie that relief is around the corner, then do it. But give yourself a knowing little wink in the mirror when you do.